Hi everyone, I'm Dina with Mills Family Gardening. We live in North Texas, Zone 8A. Today is March 15th, and in this video we'll be growing Thai red roselle from seed. Our average last frost date is about mid-March, and since today is March 15th, we're kind of starting seeds late, but we do that because roselle is a warm, weather-loving plant. So I'm planning on planting it outside beginning of April or maybe even mid of April. So it will have about a month to germinate and grow into a good size seedling. I ordered the seeds from Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. Their seeds are normally really good. These are the seeds. They're pretty large, so we're going to plant them at about ½ inch depth. I have a 6-pack seedling tray here. And if I start roselle from seed, I'll simply take about a couple of seeds because they have a pretty good germination rate. And I'll plant them at about ½ inch deep and cover them with the soil like that. Also, to speed up the germination, I use the paper towel method to sprout my roselle seeds. So I started the seeds on March 13th, and today is March 15th, and you can see that in 2 days the seeds have already started sprouting. Their little roots are coming out. I don't want the plants to come out completely out of the seed shells, even though I could wait longer, it would be okay. I prefer for them to germinate to this stage where I can take a sprout and place it in the soil and then cover the soil. And I also plant them at the same depth that the seeds would normally be planted. You don't have to point the root up or down. You can just place them in the soil, and the way they go in the soil, just cover them and they will find their way out of the soil. The roots will naturally start growing down and the seedling will go up. And you can plant 1 or 2 sprouts into the soil. It seems like they're growing pretty well, so I'll just do 1 sprout. And I can save these sprouts for other containers. The lowest temperature that we'll have this week is going to be 39 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a little bit too cold for roselle sprouts to stay outside. That's why I'm going to bring them inside and keep them under the grow lights until about beginning of April. And then I'll take them outside, harden them off, and we'll plant them in the ground. Today is March 29th, and our roselle seedlings have come up. So I'm going to take them outside because it warmed up a lot, and there's a very low chance we'll get another frost. I'm going to harden them off by placing them right here. This is a dappled sun area. It gets about 2 or 3 hours of morning sun, which is okay for new seedlings. But the rest of the day, this area gets dappled sun created by all these bushes here. So the seedlings will stay here for a week or 2, and then in mid-April, I'll plant them in the ground. Today is April 13th, and this is our roselle. It looks sad, and I feel like I'm a bad gardener. We had the temperature that went down to 34 degrees Fahrenheit last weekend, about a week ago, and you can see that it killed most of the seedlings, and I completely forgot to bring it inside. But some of the seedlings actually still have hope, like this one, and maybe that one will make it, and possibly this one. I still have time to start new seeds. It's very possible. We're not losing time because we have a long growing season. But I'm gonna give a chance to these 3 seedlings, and we don't have room for more plants anyway. So we'll give some more time to these 3 seedlings and see how they do. Today is May 4th. It's warmed up a lot. We don't have any danger of frost or freeze. So we're going to transplant our roselle seedlings in the ground. You can see that 2 of them survived because of my bad mistake that I made, and I'm going to plant our roselle seedlings here. I'm going to plant only 1 plant because I know that roselle plants get really big and wide, and we don't have that much room here in our garden. So I'm going to use the largest seedling, but I will also keep this seedling. I'm not going to compost it or throw it away just in case something happens with this seedling. We have really bad heavy clay soil in our backyard. That is why I dug up this hole, and I'm going to fill it up with this organic garden mix, I think. So I'm just going to add a couple of handfuls of it on the bottom of the hole, and then I'll add some organic all-purpose fertilizer, also about a couple of handfuls, so that it will be feeding the seedlings and the seedlings would be strong. So I'll get the seedling out of this little container here, making sure to keep the roots intact. The roots look pretty good, and I'm going to set it right here. It's okay that it's deeper. We're just gonna fill it up with this mix. I'm gonna make sure to pat down the soil so the seedling will stay strong and supported. Today is June 22nd. Our roselle has grown. It's already gotten just as wide as it is tall. So at some point I would have to trim this Russian sage to get it out of the way. But the roselle is not putting out any flower buds, so we'll wait a little longer for it to start blooming. Today is September 28th, and now Roselle is ready to be harvested. I apologize for our background. The pumpkin that we're trying to grow has taken over the garden. That's what happens when you try to grow as many vegetables in a small space. But back to our Roselle. So you can see that some of the flowers already closed up. They are fading, and pretty much right after the flower is done blooming and falls off, or you can remove it on your own, the calyx of the Roselle flower is ready to be harvested. Some people prefer to harvest calyxes while they're still closed, but it's better to harvest when calyxes are about 1 inch or slightly larger, because that way, compared to small calyxes, you simply get more material to cook with. And you can use Roselle calyxes for different purposes. You can make tea or syrups or jams. If you open the calyx, you can see that there is a seed pod inside. It's pretty firm and hard, so I already left some of the calyx. But what you do, you can cut off the bottom part. Make sure that the seed pod doesn't go too hard, because otherwise it will be hard to cut it. And then you simply remove the seed pod like that, and then you have the calyx, and that's what you use to make tea, jams, or syrups. But some people like to keep the seed pod because seed pods have a lot of pectin in them. And so if you're planning on making Roselle jam, you can cook the seed pod first. It will release all the pectin, and that's what will make your jam thicker. But after you cook the seed pod, make sure to remove it, and then you can use the calyxes themselves to put in the same water and then cook these, and it will get thicker and you will get jam. You might notice that our Roselle plant isn't very tall, and I think the reason is that I planted it straight into our heavy red clay soil. That's why it's not very tall, but at the same time, it's still pretty wide and it's producing a good amount of calyxes for us. So that's the benefit of growing Roselle. You can plant it straight into compacted, heavy clay soil, and it will still grow and produce really nice calyxes for you. Now, if you plant it into looser soil, then I'm sure it will get much taller and it will produce more calyxes. Today is November 9th, and we'll be harvesting the seeds from Roselle, and I made a mistake. I was harvesting the very first calyxes that form in Roselle, and that was a mistake on my part. I should have left them on the plant, because the seeds inside of those seed pods take a long time to mature. And so if you would like to collect seeds from your Roselle, as soon as you see new calyxes form, you need to make sure to keep them on the plant so they would have enough time to mature and dry out before the freeze arrives. And tonight we're supposed to get down into the mid-30s Fahrenheit, and I'm sure this temperature will kill the whole plant. But nevertheless, I will show you how to harvest seeds from Roselle. And for that, we're going to find the largest and the most mature calyx, like this, for example. Or I can harvest this one, it doesn't matter. Neither of them is mature enough to be harvested yet for seeds. So inside of the calyx, there's a seed pod, and you remove the leaves, and we'll remove the little bug that's in here too. And when the seed pod is ready, it's more of a brownish color and looks dry. In our case, it hasn't had enough time to dry out. And when it's dry, it opens up a little bit. See the little sections? They start splitting, and then they open up, and inside of the seed pod, you'll be able to find seeds. Right now, the seeds are not mature. They're still white, but mature seeds are darker color, more dark brown, or even black or dark gray. And that's when they will be ready to be harvested and then planted again next year. Well, that was our very first year to grow Roselle. I really love the experience. I'll certainly be growing it for years to come. I hope this video is helpful to you. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.